El Uno.
Yeah.
Man.
I like to stick with a 80s theme, but
An 80s theme.
it's been a very, very long time since we've been together. And I know I don't want to say this to you boys, hurt anybody's feelings because I love everybody equally, but it's not the same. And it just hits so different when it's us three on here, bro. I'm so sorry. And again, I don't mean to offend literally anybody, but I've missed you guys. And this just feels always so right when we on here, dog. First and
Hey,
foremost, good evening, gentlemen.
what's up? What's up? What's up?
Monday, January 13th, 9:45. We are
Oh my
being
God.
blessed with the two-time, two, two-time champion, Mr. Boyer, the Crystal Methodist.
Am I two? I think I'm still single, man. You look, I
I
was
want to
going
say
to
you,
be.
bro, two. I want to say it's two. I don't. We definitely check, but I'm pretty confident you've won more than once in here.
I think I went to a championship in my first year and came up short.
Oh, we'll have to go back to the standing. I'll one well during our conversation. I'll go back to the history and check. And the man of the
A
hour
one-time playoff appearance.
coming in strong, lighting up the stage. Come on, sir. Good evening, sir. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Before we get started, dog, I
I feel
need
like I won this year after that. That's nice. Back to back.
back to back, dog. What do you mean? That's what I'm saying. So if you
Oh,
can give me a second to get on my soapbox real quick before we start, and fucking, I wanted to address fucking my lovely Atlanta Falcons. I kind of really stayed quiet when said I was adamant, am extremely adamant that this fucking year was a wasted year. Every other year I feel like is a wasted year, but this year specifically is wasted like a motherfucker, right? All right,
You
Jason.
made that point from the beginning.
I I said from the beginning
In
it was
regards
a
to the quarterback
terrible
situation.
choice of allocation of funds. Even if Kirk works out, which he obviously didn't, we spent the first round capital on this guy that's gonna fucking ride the bench, and by the time he gets up there, he's gonna be pretty close to his contract. Right now, we're over here talking about our fucking GM is talking about, yeah, we're comfortable and welcome to having a $40 million fucking guy hold a clipboard next year. What
what
the
else are you gonna say though? What else are
Yeah.
you gonna say?
man, like how shitty our offense was, how shitty our pass rush was, all this fucking money that we're gonna be sitting here holding for this dude for the next at least 2 years that's going to definitely impede with our rookies that we have under contract, let alone any possible free agents that we can fucking possibly get. So again, in my opinion, I guess it's still up in the air, and I guess I'm not really so upset that we got Penix. But in my opinion, am I wrong with what I said that this feels like a wasted year? Because again, our biggest issue, especially at the very least on defense, was we had no fucking pass rush. We were lucky enough to trade for Matt Judon, which was okay, and we were definitely head over heels because we have literally nobody other than Grady Jarrett. But man, just am I
I think,
tripping or do my or
I think
again?
it's just
And we like losing to the Carolina Panthers on the last fucking game of the season. Shout out to Bryce Young, bro. No disrespect or no at all, but like a team that is far from getting their shit together, and a team that was supposed to have their shit together. Just another fucking Atlanta Falcons season, bro.
Hey, look, Penix is 0-1 against your boys.
I think you I mean, you nailed it, but it could be worse than what it is, man.
No, you know what? You know what's even more worse about it is that we justified on these past seasons. Listen, we've stuck with holding on to Matt Ryan's contract, then having to deal with the shitty fucking quarterback of Ritter and the other guy, and we're like, all right, we're gonna draft and build our team up, right? We passed on Lamar because they didn't want to give up the draft capital, and they said they didn't want to fucking pay for him. Just think of how our team would look with Lamar Jackson.
A lot of people could say that. But yeah,
There's always a woulda, coulda. But the fact that our owner came out and said, hey, listen, we're not doing that because we're trying to build up, to then go ahead and give $40 fucking million to this noodle arm fuck is just like, that's what is come full circle with me, is right? Like, is that this coming up to this season, coming up to paying Kirk, we were like, listen, we're shitty, but we're at least building, we're drafting. We went from
here's the thing.
London to Bijan to where all those fucking guys again are, their careers are going down the fucking drain.
Yeah, but here's what I was going to make a comparison to. So I do think that your situation is made worse by the fact that you signed the dude to that deal, the dude being Kirk Cousins, after you knew that he had like blown up his Achilles, right?
I never won a fucking playoff game on top of that.
So who's worse? Is it the Jets or is it the Falcons from that perspective?
Because the Falcons, with how fucking thirsty they were of like, look at where we could have been in that fucking
I think it's even.
Watson situation, bro. We were right there to get her pull out the.
Well, in terms of wasted talent too, it is pretty comparable, right? The only issue that I take with the Jets as possibly being a worse situation than the Falcons is that, like, you've got, like, you continue to just add these studs all over the place, and then you're like, you continue to fire and cycle through that, like, your team management and coaching and stuff like that. At least with the Falcons, it does appear, I don't know, if I'm a Falcons fan, even with the loss at the end of the season to the Panthers, I'm feeling really good about Penix and his poise in the few games that he was able to start, his ability to make plays. Drake London finally having somebody that's going to like shove him the rock down the field, and then Bijan not necessarily having to like do everything on his own. I don't know. I feel good about that.
We're not even talking about Drake's Week 18 game, but I want to change it from like a dynamic of what some of these franchises have done. Mm-hmm. So the Steelers went and signed a 35-year-old. They squeezed into the playoffs. The Jets and the Vikings both went old heads and had the Jets and the Falcons had relatively bad seasons. But then you look at the Vikings, who have a rejuvenated 20-some-year-old quarterback. Tampa Bay Bucks have done the same thing. The Lions.
While we were talking, I think I just saw where Mike McCarthy is out in Dallas.
Yes.
I didn't see that news earlier, so that's pretty big news.
We'll talk about that. I want to ask you guys a second after Kamal finishes.
Sorry,
but
Kamal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty much it. Like, just how, the younger quarterbacks are thriving, right? And maybe that there is an age where the player just is not capable of making it through 17 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kirk and Rodgers looked worse.
Well, and they both are coming off a similar injury too, right? So
and they are, yeah, but both with more offensive weapons than half of the NFL. You know what I mean? And just couldn't get things together in their own right. But I think, when you look at some of these teams playing this weekend in particular, I mean, you got a bunch of 25, 28-year-olds, like pretty much in the prime of their physical feature, and they're fucking thriving right now.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a different way that some of these franchises are going to go about it moving forward. I think Kirk will probably get dealt, but you're still going to have
there's no fucking way that we're
his,
paying. There's no way that
he's you're going to pay for his shit no matter what.
But that he will be on that roster, bro. He can't be.
But shit, at least you did draft the future in the process of whiffing.
Yeah. Yeah. I look, that's why I think, it could be.
That was the plan all along. That's what's the annoying part is that, like, that was the plan all along. Why pay so much to Kirk? Why pay fucking, like, I don't understand. That just makes no fucking sense.
You're gonna have to talk to your boy Arthur.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's wild too how disconnected the franchise can seem to the, like, I would consider us just not like we're the average civilian, but I mean, we're not in the industry. You know what I mean? We're just fans at the end of the day. Yeah. It's just wild how disconnected these like multi-million dollar decisions can be made. And it's like, if anybody of our cut is in the draft room when this stuff is happening, we're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, if we're just a fly on the wall, trash.
No sense, dog. No fucking sense.
But I mean, look, is at least if we're gonna like go back to what we've stumped for, I do have to own that I've been probably one of the most critical of Bryce Young, at least vocally.
Yeah,
and the jury is still somewhat out, right? But
yeah, I mean, he's growth.
But
right
after he got benched and then they brought him back, I mean, what are you going to say? Because they did have to bench him. That's the first and foremost. It did require him like getting pulled out.
But I also want to point out that the team that he took over was the same team that that Sam Darnold looked like trash in, Baker Mayfield, right? Like the franchise in that moment was just in shambles, and he wasn't the answer. He could have been part of the answer, and he may be. As you said, jury's still out. But this team and franchise, I mean, when they say it starts from the top, as just a casual fan, like there was a lot to hate about Tepper in his first.
Well, yeah, I look at it like this. We can say what we want positively about Bryce, and look, he's earned some credit, but he's still the 101, right? He was literally the first pick off the board. And in the same season, we're like in his rookie season, we're watching the 102 in Jaden Daniels.
But again, that's a coaching staff that was fired that season. The GM was fired. Like they paid for their decisions. And I don't know, there's a lot of rumors as to why Bryce was taken over Stroud. People said that like the coaches wanted Stroud, but the owner wanted Bryce. And, I mean, they're rumors. Like I haven't really heard much from it, but just from the outside looking in, our owner was in a lot of heat over the first few years. And this past season, like I couldn't tell you one thing about him,
Well,
so
you could have early on because it peaked, right? Like his shenanigans peaked before Bryce got benched. But both of those two things seemed to happen. It was like Bryce and Tepper got benched at the same time.
Yeah. which was needed.
You know what I mean? It's like hey, both of you go to your corners. Like go sit down for a few minutes.
The only issue is you look at a franchise like Washington, who has been trash for a majority of our lives.
That's what I'm saying.
And with the trash owner, and then they did all the right things. And so there's a lot of questions as to whether or not Tepper was in it for the right reasons. I was very vocal about him probably wanting to move the franchise just to make some money off, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I feel much differently about that now, but I do think that his agenda has somewhat changed throughout his tenure as the owner.
Well, some of the backstory to the Panthers as well. I don't think a lot of people are aware, but like, man, that facility that they were building in South Carolina, like a lot of that capitulated. Yeah, like that. And I mean, that was like a multi-year, multi-million-dollar. I mean, it's all sorts of, you can read about it. There's all sorts of speculation, but by and large,
ultimately Tepper was the reason.
Yeah.
What he pocketed the money. He didn't invest it.
No, it's mostly about, the city, like, negotiating with the city. Cause they're like, look, they go down to South Carolina for their training camp every year, right? What's the school down there? Kamal Wofford.
Yes.
And that goes back to the original owner and founder, Jerry Richardson. That was his alma mater. And that was an institution that he, gave to, contributed to, helped build, all that kind of stuff. And so the Panthers, look, I have nothing but good things to say. I'll turn this whole thing into like a glowing review of Jerry Richardson and how much really my biggest beef with Tepper, aside from the antics, like in the owner's box, pouring drinks on fans and then be like meddling too much in a sport that he clearly knows very little about, right? But aside from all that, my biggest thing with him is that, dude, he just took a dump on Jerry Richardson's legacy from day one. Like, he removed the statue of Jerry Richardson from out in front of Bank of America Stadium, right? Any shred of that legacy, he completely erased. And when you do that, you also are erasing the legacy of, not one, but 2 Super Bowl runs, right?
Yeah,
it's not as if,
of your team, especially from a fan standpoint.
And it's a new franchise still. I mean, you think about the Carolina Panthers, what, 96? Was there 96 or 97 was their inaugural season, right? So you're talking about Julius Peppers. And dude, Jerry Richardson was like Jerry Richardson played in the league, bro.
Like, I forgot he died. I completely forgot.
Dude, yeah. I mean, look, he played in the league before the league was monetized the way it was. Like, he didn't keep playing in the league because their offer of him, and I mean, their offer to him to come back for like another season wasn't enough for what he wanted to do. But the dude grew up in a house without indoor plumbing and shit like that. He's self-made, dude. He founded Hardee's, for God's sake.
He took his fucking 1959 NFL championship bonus, him and his homeboy, and they fucking founded Hardee's.
Yeah, bro. Like, Jerry Richardson was the real deal, like the real deal, like rags to riches story. And he brought a franchise. He literally petitioned and brought a franchise into Charlotte, North Carolina, built it from nothing, right? There was nothing, no expectation.
It hasn't been a year yet. He died on March 1st, 2023.
Yeah, man. And so it's almost 2 years. Yeah. So for what he did for the city, and I mean, again, it's a young franchise. You got to think, like, there are franchises in the league now that like go back to the 50s, right? Or even earlier than that, through the 40s, right?
On Denny's too. All right, let me ask you this question. Would you guys rather have the career so far of Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson?
Oh, man. I think I would just rather be. I think I would just rather
equally benched during the season for a completely opposite fucking reason. Would you rather have been that Bryce? Just think if you were already criticizing it, you don't think that he has that dog in him, and for Bryce to be like, all right, bro, let me get out. Let me get out. This game is too hot.
Yeah, I think that my criticism of Bryce is that I think there has to be. Look, I'll say this: for all the talk that I give about Bryce, all the negativity, all that kind of stuff, it's because he was the 101 and there are clear expectations. He comes from the Alabama before Saban left, right? He's done all of that. And I do think that mentally, at least, he's capable of being that kind of quarterback in the league. And that's what he was branded as. I don't think there was any expectation of Anthony Richardson ever being what Bryce was branded in terms of potential.
Okay.
So would I rather have one or the other's, career to date? I don't know. I would like to have Bryce Young's future prospects over Anthony Richardson, to be frank with you.
Okay.
I don't know, Kamal, what you think.
I would prefer to mold both players together. the size of Anthony Richardson with the skill set of Bryce.
Boo.
Get to the question, my man. Fuck.
I don't know. I
No,
mean,
you know what you get.
I think Bryce has a lot of potential, man. It's just straight up whether he can overcome it from his stature. Right? Like it's not easy to play any position in the NFL with his size.
Yeah.
So if he can overcome that, he'll be a good quarterback. But I mean, he overcame that in the last 6 weeks. He looked good. It didn't look like it was an issue. Found throwing lanes, found open guys, made some like beautiful throws. Some throws where you're like, damn.
Well, I think helped in large part by old man Adam Thielen too, right? I mean, somebody that can get it done when it's not perfect.
He's a quarterback's best friend, man.
Right? I mean, for real, it's like he can get it done when it's not perfect.
That dude is still fucking balling. That's nice, right?
But that's huge for somebody in Bryce's position where he doesn't actually have to be perfect and he's got somebody that will get it done anyway and gives him a little bit of buffer to make it better the next time or whatever, right? So
if Thielen played a 17-game season, I
way
would have finished top 24.
I don't think that Thielen can last a 24 or a 17-game season.
But I mean, that's how effective he is in our offense. You know what I mean? Like he is a focal point. And I brought this up last year, and I will never forget it. Who was our coach last year? What was his name from the Colts? The old dude.
Jim Irsay?
No, the coach, not the
not the owner.
Old fuck. I don't know.
Frank.
Right.
Yeah, Frank Reich.
Fuck.
It was a it was a
that sounded so confident too, bro.
After the game. Listen. They asked him about a play, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I called this play because I thought Thielen was in the game, and then I realized he wasn't."
Cut a ball.
So the incompetence of what we were dealing with for almost an entire year.
Well, dude, Matt Rule before that, right?
Well, I wasn't going to bring him up, Boyer.
But I mean, think about what the path we've traveled as Panthers fans the last 3 years is dark, bro. It's been real. Like we dealt Christian McCaffrey, we dealt DJ Moore, we dealt Brian Burns, like all of our star talent we have dealt. And
I was okay with moving all three.
Well, bro, I was the guy that was stumping for Deshaun Watson when we were thinking about moving Christian McCaffrey. I was like, bro, if we do that now, we need to bring in an actual quarterback, right?
No, but in retrospect, though, the McCaffrey thing worked. DJ didn't make sense because you're trading your only weapon away to draft a quarterback, right? So it's like, what are you doing here, right? And then as far as Burns go, they had an option during the season to trade him. They chose not to. So then when you get the new coach and the new GM, like they did what they could do with the trash that was left over. And just in my opinion, and from, where we've been the last 2, 3, 4 years, like things are more promising this offseason than they have been in the last 4 years.
Thank God for
it doesn't mean, we're going to strive and be a playoff team next year, but, we should not be bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's just like for us, I think the priority is building culture right now. That's it, right? Like our prerogative.
I love our head coach, man. I was a fan as soon as we hired him. Now, what I'm not a fan of is
Dan Morgan.
No, the defensive coordinator. Like ever since we moved to 3-4, we've just been complete ass. Now we
lost Derek Brown though super early.
Our better, I mean, we've really lost our best defensive players in the last 2 seasons. So
I would say the jury's out on that. We'll see.
Yeah, but still, I've never been a fan of 3-4 personally.
Yeah, but we're also spoiled to death.
Yeah.
Going from like a Luke Kuechly led defense and you remember the days of Josh Norman and Luke Kuechly, bro? We went and not to reminisce too hard, but I mean, the franchise definitely lost some momentum when we lost the Super Bowl the way that we did with Cam to the Broncos.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I also disagreed at the time when we signed Cam to like a short-term deal, like at the end of the season in some sort of weird effort. It just seemed like so distracting to everything that we were trying to do, like getting back with an ex for like a quick fling, knowing that you were going to be disappointed.
Even in that regard, for the most exciting player in your franchise ever to be like essentially banned from the organization is outrageous. You know what I mean? Like that's something that has to be fixed, in my opinion. Just again, from a fan standpoint, but enough talking about these motherfuckers, man. Our season's over.
This is all great, bro. This is
praise Chuba. I'm happy. I'm really happy for Chuba Hubbard. Like
Man,
as a guy, with no expectations. And also, I'm happy that the franchise had the wherewithal, like during the season, to recognize,
he was doing good, man. Let's reward this guy.
Let's do this now.
Yeah.
What a great, like, I don't know. I'm excited about
there's a few players on the team that I feel strongly about.
Jalen Coker, one of them.
Yeah, and Leggett. I love that Leggett, like when he dropped that touchdown play to win the game. I love how hard he took it. You know what I mean? Like passion. But yeah, passion, man. Like, and Jalen Coker was somebody that I heard about all off season. So I mean, like, no lie, bro, in fantasy, I mean, he wasn't even like an option to be picked up until whenever the fuck I picked him up. He just wasn't on the fantasy radar, and I patiently waited and waited.
You guys got some fucking hitters, man. I could develop nice. Just get a good old line like the Jatavian Sanders, that your tight end, bro. He was more than.
I loved it. Yeah.
It's nice that he made it back too, right?
Is good.
Came back from that, yeah, man. He's What do you? So we were talking about how Mike McCarthy's out. You've seen already quickly. Words already going around that Jerry Jones talked to Deion Sanders.
Of course, he wants Deion.
Everybody wants
anything that's exciting, yo. If you haven't learned that about Jerry, he's all about making headlines.
Who do you think that would happen?
As long as CD gets to play in championship week, I don't care what happens, bro. As long as they don't shut down CD next time I'm in a championship matchup, that'd be fucking helpful. Thanks.
Jerry Jones is the owner, GM, head coach. I don't see a guy like Deion coming in and being told, certain circumstances. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dak is your quarterback, for instance.
I don't see them. I just don't see him going there either because, he's going to want to go wherever. He'll go to the league wherever his son's going is what I feel.
Well, that would be
goes to the Cowboys.
I just can't see because, they just paid Dak. Is this dude? How are they even going to get the cap? What do they have? I don't even know what they have this year.
Look what Deion did to Colorado. And just from a
– I mean, why would you want to stay? It would make logical sense as far as just him being – as far as his –
the circus that the Cowboys are is perfect for Deion.
Agreed.
But I don't think Deion will get the coaching experience he deserves in the NFL by going to Dallas. And
he doesn't care, bro. He's trying to be wherever his son is, dog. That's really what it is. It's really
the thing that we know about Deion, though, is this. What he went to, what was the school before Colorado? Jackson State?
Yes.
And he made Jackson State a household name and then goes directly to Colorado. And like all of the doubt at the end of that first year was put to absolute rest in year 2 in Colorado, right? Legit. He coached up a Heisman Trophy winner. So I don't know, man. I think it would work, to be honest with you.
Where?
In Dallas with Deion. I think it would work.
I think with his son on the team?
With or without. I think that's the only variable, though, that's really going to, I do think that he's going to want an opportunity to coach his son in the league.
That's what
and if you follow Kamal's theory, right? Wouldn't that be the big tent circus that we're talking about? Is like Wouldn't that add to the headlines? Wouldn't that add to the charge?
What picks do they have? I just don't see it happening.
Get Shedeur.
I don't see it happening because they would have to. Yeah, what kind of capital do they have to get up?
Give Dak to the Giants. I don't know. It's not like the Giants are exactly like stiff negotiators.
But I would think that you would have to move into the top 5 to even get a shot at a quarterback.
Just they have the number 12 pick.
Players have been.
It's easily doable. I think. I just
I think it just comes down to capital. I don't know what the Cowboys have in terms of they don't have a lot of players, to sell.
Would you trade Parsons?
So that's the issue. I think that's the big issue.
That's a guy that's coming up for his contract. So how would that look like? Like again, you have Dak, who you just fresh off of paying. Now are you gonna draft Shedeur? And then what is he gonna sit there on the bench for?
So you want them to pull in Atlanta Falcons?
No, I'm just saying it just doesn't make sense that he would leave to go coach in the NFL unless it's to coach his son.
So
and I don't see why Dallas doesn't. So New York unless they drafted what's his face, the other kid.
Does New York have
no the other dude at Colorado, bro, the one that won the Heisman.
Oh, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I could see him go coaching Dallas if they got him, but again, he has a number 10 pick. That dude's gonna go what, top 5?
That's rich, I think. I don't know though.
Travis.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I respect and admire what he did at the college level, it's just hard to predict the next Deion.
For sure. Agreed. Agreed. But I transparently, man, I don't follow college like that to know what really good players are out there until I start seeing that shit.
Same.
Until I'll start doing my
homework. A handful of players, and that's about it.
Yeah, not enough to be able to speak with confidence. Fuck, man. Let's see what else is going on here. I know I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about.
Let's get to the business. You know what I mean?
Vikings want a fucking chance. They got to score on this drive.
I agree. Who's the quarterbacks coach over there in Minnesota? I just saw him on the screen.
I wasn't paying attention. Oh, is it the dude that was with us?
Yeah. I can't. His name is escaping me right now. Yeah, Josh McCown, dude. He was a huge Stroud believer.
Yeah.
When he was with us, he was hard in the camp for Stroud.
That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of there were a few rumors as to why Bryce was this selection, but that's my point right there about JJ.
Yep.
Damn, I didn't know Corum broke his fucking forearm.
Oh, I didn't know that either. What are you doing? Looking up NFL headlines? We're live, right?
We are. We're live in full effect. Dude, throw the flag.
Oh God, just seeing Daniel Jones back there just made me grimace.
Over there in Minnesota?
Yeah, he was standing behind O'Connell just then.
He's paid, man. He doesn't give a damn.
He's fully fucking paid.
And that's the thing with Kirk Cousins too. It's a lot of the feedback that you can.
He's not going to take a pay cut or reduce none of that.
Well, shit. I mean, he doesn't have to. He's got a no trade clause, right? My thing is everybody's yeah, but he doesn't want to be a backup, and it's I've never even seen the kind of checks he's hammering on a weekly basis, bro. What do you mean he doesn't want to be a backup?
That money talks for sure. I definitely agree. His ego is probably his only thing that would be yo, I want to go I still feel like I can play. I want to go play somewhere.
Yeah,
that'd be the only reason why he'd waive his no trade clause.
Let's not kid ourselves.
I wouldn't either.
Kid ourselves about. I wouldn't either. He Kirk Cousins has far beyond outpaced any expectations that any of us ever had for him.
I said it, bro. Not only is he injured, but this man hasn't won any meaningful games. He's a fucking stat filler, bro. That's literally why he's gotten paid.
I feel like if you're an honest Kirk Cousins, just like, I don't know. I mean, far be it for me to tell another man what he wants out of his career and professional life, but it's just kind of like from the cushy seats 30,000 feet up. It's like, bro, you got a major contract. You're guaranteed out the wazoo. You're in your mid-30s. Like, what is wrong with you, like, helping develop young talent that you could have used when you were at that point in the league, right? And just, look, if you got to step in for a game here or there, you do it, but your bag is secure. Whatever. We'll see.
Hey, pay me 20 mil to be a backup QB. I'm down.
That's what I'm saying.
I need to see the field.
What's the incentive? What's the incentive really to, like, other than just him wanting to get out there and play?
That's literally
like
his ego. If he can take a back seat to that, yeah, for sure. Like, listen, I'm not gonna retire. Why the fuck would I retire when I can sit down here, chill again, mentor somebody, and pass along any of my knowledge I can to somebody else? And if I need to go fucking earn my check, I'll earn my check if they fucking need to. But yeah, let me just chill out, fucking stay in shape. Again, coach somebody up, bro. That's the best thing that he can do. Again, a guy that hasn't won a fucking play. Has he won it? I'm pretty sure he hasn't won a playoff game, right?
He's had to. I think, what was that whole like soundbite? Was like, you like that? Well, I mean, didn't he win a playoff game then, or what?
I think.
What was that? You like that? You like that? You like that? When he and Gumby were battling for the #1 spot in Washington.
I have no idea. I don't recall. That's a touchdown.
What is it? Robert Gumby III.
Damn.
Here we go. Here we go.
I'm so sorry. He's won once. That might be it.
And that was in Minnesota, though, right? Or was that in
Washington? That was in Washington.
Yeah, it had to be that game where he like came down the hallway like, you like that?
Yes, that was definitely it.
Still a terrible throw.
Awful throw. Awful throw.
That's crazy.
I'm going to bed. I'm tired.
I'll be there shortly. Love you.
Love you.
How was it? That was a missus. Oh, tell her to come back over real quick.
No, she gone.
Oh.
How was the birthday? It was good, man. Yeah, had a nice chill night. So.
Nice. Went anywhere you stayed in?
We went to an escape room, dinner, and a couple bars, but nothing crazy, man.
Did you make it out of the escape room without the hints?
No. No. But we did make it out.
Okay.
So, what a terrible, bro. I'm so sick. Like, never mind. So if they have a reception,
why are they going for 2 right here, bro?
2-point conversion. Is that still counted as a reception towards the total of the game?
It should.
What did you say? What was the question?
It does.
If they get a reception
now they get JJ out on a short route in space. Idiots, bro.
But I'm saying because he caught the ball, even though it wasn't converted, is that still?
I don't think so. I don't ever see that stuff. Like anytime you get it in fantasy, it's just if you get the catch or whatever for the 2 points, you just get the 2 points.
That's what I thought.
Because it doesn't count towards yardage for like running backs either, right?
Right. Okay. Just curious. But yeah, I really don't understand why you don't involve JJ in multiple facets of the field, and that's what we were discussing before, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think it lasts into next season. I think that it's an issue that you look and you try to correct in the offseason though, right? I mean,
is that how Randy Moss was used though? Was he strictly downfield or did they give him 5-10 yard slants and shit of that nature.
You gave him some crossing routes, but it was pretty much like vertical routes, right? Maybe some comebacks.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I remember it was just a lot of vertical plays, bro. Like he did some.
That's what all the highlights are on. I just don't know how they involved it in the game plan. It was a different game.
Team are we looking at?
The ugliest team in the fucking league, bro.
Are you keeping Aaron Jones?
Man, hell no, I ain't keeping Aaron Jones. Same way I ain't keeping Evan Ingram. You know how pissed I am about how the end of the season went for my roster, bro.
Bro,
how do you feel, Kamal? How do you feel, Kamal, about your year? How do you feel about your prospects for next year? Let's talk about that. Let's transition into the off season.
No, I want to talk about this year.
Okay,
we need to talk about this year.
The Kobe Dean, bro. That's gotta hurt. Fucking going down like that. Tell me about how you feel about this year, man. It was rough, bro. I feel this year was definitely worse than losing last year.
Here's how I feel about the championship week.
You tell me, sir.
In the weeks leading up to the trade deadline and then at the trade deadline, I tried and successfully filled my tight end void with Evan Ingram, right?
Which I thought I did too. That was waste.
Target getter, and then he goes to IR. All right, now we're back to plugging and playing. Screw that future second that I'll never see again because Evan Ingram will be $27 next year, and nobody's going to buy him. At least nobody with any sense. So
never say never.
It's just, what hurt the most, honestly,
$16. Fuck.
Because, so he'll be 24 next year.
Mm-hmm.
Cut. And just, I'll be the Panthers and I'll send that draft pick into oblivion.
He played good, bro. 18, 13, 13, 10.
Yeah, not for me, man. It's like I got him, what? When was the trade deadline? It would have been the latter portion. So, like, he came off the bye. And I had him for that week that he had 11.1 and then the 7.3. And then it was just cooked for the rest. Like he was a playoff specific acquisition. So I could actually have pretty much guaranteed targets at that position.
That boy, Money Joe.
And then in the same week that the Seahawks are supposed to play the Bears,
right?
Trash defense. Ken Walker goes to IR, and then literally 24 hours or 48 hours after CeeDee Lamb is in the media saying, the fans come to see us play. I'll be ready. I'll be out there. I'm not sitting, The franchise elects to shut him down for the season. So headed into the most important game of the year after going 12-2, outscoring the whole league. And what was CeeDee Lamb? What did CeeDee Lamb finish as rankings-wise, even without playing week 17 or 18?
Wide receiver 8.
Straight up, after 2 games with zeros at the end. Look at that. Go down. Straight up, 2 games with zeros at the end. Still 8th overall. So when they shut him down, I think he was 3rd or 4th overall. I'm rolling into the championship matchup without him and then without the burst that Ken Walker has the ability to hit. Because if you look at Ken Walker, I know there was some talk in the chat about that. Bro, look at these games. 35, 23, 21. I'm not stressing anything if he's there. Because, okay, he gets me what? 13, 10?
He's at the very least coming out with double-digit points.
And it's just and they were playing Chicago, bro.
Chi-Town. Yep.
That was boom matchup potential. So I lose by less than 4. After all that, after stressing over the defensive lineman start where I made the wrong start on that, right? All that stupid stuff. At the end of it, all it really came down to was at the very, 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 very end of the season, the depth that I thought I had evaporated. That's it. And look, that's crazy. Less than 4 points. Shout out to BTJ for holding it down, though.
Brian Thomas was a great pick, bro. I was scratching my head.
Oh, and to make it worse, just to continue my bitch fest, and I'll be done because I promise I'm over it, bro. I'm over it.
It's fine.
I swear to God, I'm over it. I don't care.
Not,
I don't
bro,
care.
so-
However,
bitter,
instead
dog.
of taking Jermaine Burton like an idiot, I could have also taken Ladd McConkey. And guess what happens if I do that?
You don't lose by 4, that's for sure.
He's not putting up 29 on me in the championship game. That's what's happening. Regardless, he's not putting up buckets on me in the last week. That's it. All right, I'm over it now, though. Now that I've spoken my piece. All told, I feel decent about how the squad will
bounce back.
Well, not even really bounce back, just like carry forward into the next season. It feels budget-wise, things feel okay for me right now in terms of the people I care about most. Man, biggest surprise to me. Yeah, biggest surprise.
For the 4 Buckaroonies.
Oh, well, he got hurt in the championship game. We're not going to talk about that shit either, Chase Brown.
For the Buckaroonies.
And the fact that he stopped himself from scoring.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that shit either, bro. Not going to talk about any of these outlier statistics that just happen to all coalesce in the only game of the season that ultimately matter. I'm not going to talk about any of that.
It sounds like you're over it, though.
I'm totally over it, dude. I'm not. Look, I'm not even tripping. I'm not even tripping. I'm not competitive at all, bro. I didn't win 12 games. You know what I mean? Didn't carry the torch for the back-to-back and get all the way to the end. I don't care. You know what I mean? Coming up short doesn't bother a guy like me.
No.
I think the only real decision you have to make is Tyreek. I think the rest.
What about AJ?
Well, nobody's keeping AJ
really. I mean, bro, he did this to me last year. So if you go back to last year's championship matchup with you, which I don't say that to like give you any bad memories, Kamish. However, even if you go back to that matchup and you go and you look at a line by line of player output, AJ Brown was a dud for me in the championship game last year too. And his history with me in this league is not exactly a good one.
This sucks. Damn. That was
reliving the glory days, dog. Here we go.
Louise.
Lamar with the 45, Brees with the 27, CD with the 40.5. But look at AJ Brown, dud with 9, dickhead, right? So, I mean, this is his MO as far as I'm concerned. And when you've got a 2,000-yard rusher on your team who's also trying to break the record, that really was the biggest stressor for me in the CD being on IR is knowing that I was not going to have the willpower to start anybody at flex other than AJ Brown, because why would I?
Yeah.
And then knowing what he did to me in the exact same spot at flex last year, feeling like it was doomed to repeat. And, oh, God, he got 3 more points than he did last year. Thanks, bud. You know? Thanks, big play, AJ. I'm over it, though, for real. Also,
Kelsey
regret dealing James Cook at this point, I guess.
Christian McCaffrey fucked me 2 years in a row. Oof. Oh, yeah. James Cook, man. Yeah, man. He's definitely has surpassed expectations. I would agree on that.
But yeah, Kamal, you think Tyreek is a decision?
I think he's the only one, but I also think he has trade value.
He most certainly has trade value.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the guy's no matter as long as he's not retiring, he's gonna be.
That's like the peak. But Yeah, I mean,
he finished number 2 on top of how shitty this year went. So
that's
No,
last.
that's last year, bro. Don't get me started on like what his
Yeah,
dude.
Tyreek
There were
probably
some
isn't even top 20, bro.
dude. Yeah, I think there were mock drafts with him preseason where there were people taking him at the 101.
okay, hold on 1 second.
Jonnu Smith though.
I would give him like
TE
18.
one Jonnu Smith, trash ass.
That bum ass motherfucker, dog. Chris, get off his dick, bro. So because he plays for the Dolphins. That's the only reason, bro. Number
19th.
13.
Which is crazy to consider how poor of a season he had, considering how he
Oh,
has.
and guess what? He would have won me the chip though if I had started him at flex over AJ. Look at that, week 17.
Yeah,
0.5.
Having a
I
different combo
advocated
entirely.
starting Tyreek.
Do what?
I think I advocated for starting Tyreek.
Yeah, but off of the previous 2 games, it's just like
the matchup was there, man, with AJ.
It wasn't because they didn't have
CD.
They didn't have Hurts.
Well, they didn't have CD on the other side. That was the real issue for that matchup. Was like they weren't going to need to actually like be out there competing, and they didn't have to. I mean,
and I think AJ dropped a touchdown.
No, I think it was called back. Like they said that he didn't get a foot down. So he could have had 2 touchdowns in that game, but he was saved by that 3rd catch for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because his line was something like 3 for 36 or something like that. Something ugly.
How do you feel about your boy Brees?
I love Brees, man.
I think so too, man.
And in a season that you wish you could just like,
he held up this year. He didn't get hurt. Anything significant? Like
I think he was playing hurt for a lot of the year too. This year,
I wouldn't say that he was playing hurt, man, but he just came off of significant injury the year before, right?
No, that was 2 years ago.
All right, so
bro, the offense was
how long does it take a guy? How long does it usually takes these guys?
The offense was trash.
Yeah, here's my theory.
I agree. The offense was trash.
Bro, they traded for Devontae Adams and won less games after doing so. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's not.
I hear you on
logical. No, I think here's my theory.
That was a fucking circus on that, bro. Like
my theory on Brees is that when you've got 2 young guys like Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen in a lost season, why would you want to put more miles than necessary on Brees Hall? That's just my theory.
I hear you, but at the same time, if he didn't finish, the narrative would have been on him. The guy's not healthy enough to finish the seasons. So I like the fact that he came back and he still finished. And as shitty as it was, just at least keep him in there just to again show that he's finishing off strong. It was a lost season. 100.
How many plays were the Jets even running per game against the average? Like the most frustrating thing about a Jets game is Aaron Rodgers taking 2 minutes between each snap. It's like guy is just out there like wasting every second.
I have a question. Did y'all watch that documentary on Netflix, Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Never.
That's how tired we are of him as fans.
I didn't even know there was one, bro. I'm not looking.
But my point is, did you watch? Like, do you guys watch the wide receiver one and the quarterback one?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason, no, but I'm watching all these documentaries, right? Like as soon as they come on, I'm watching them.
Like Hard Knocks, and then the in-season Hard Knocks.
But as soon as they come out with one with Rodgers, I be damned if I put a damn minute towards watching that egomaniac, dude. Like,
it just like I act like I see him the same way I see like Rajon Rondo, just to borrow from the NBA. Like Rajon Rondo won an NBA title with the Celtics in his rookie year. And in a way, it kind of messed him up for the rest of his career. Like, I think he's perfectly talented dude. Plenty to like about Rajon Rondo. But with Aaron Rodgers, is it so different with his one Super Bowl super early on in his
I don't
career.
like your comparison because their overall career cannot be think
I think it's just raw talent, man. I hear what you're saying, man.
he was arguably the best quarterback in the league, whereas Rondo was, I don't think, ever argued as the best point guard.
Never.
I mean, there were people that would have made that case early on, for sure.
Rondo, I'm a huge Rondo fan because of the way he played the game.
Yeah. But it's like, but he's clever in the same way, right? Like, I know it's an imperfect comparison. All I'm saying is that the attitude and the disposition and then the on-field or on-court kind of like approach, to me, it maps well enough to be like, okay, you'll never be able to take a ring away from Rondo. You'll never be able to take away the discount double check era for Aaron Rodgers. But like, why are we burdened with it as like when Rodgers is 37 or whatever, 37,000 years old? And
but here's the thing. Why is it that nobody got tired of Brady? Like,
because
it's the characteristics of Rodgers that just make you fucking like, you don't enjoy like rooting for him. You know,
it's a different experience entirely. Like,
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying that about the villain part, but like the easiest answer to that is that the dude was talented, man.
He's not even a villain.
People put up with you until you're not producing.
Yeah, but he's not a villain in my opinion. He is him.
No, he wasn't, but he was able
who he is that makes you as a fan just be like, I can't root for you.
Yeah.
Like,
now look, think about this
you know
too.
what I mean?
This is maybe, I think I'm supporting what you're saying, Kamal. Like with Brady, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you ever question whether he was buying into the system or not?
No.
Right? Like, he seemed like a company man. And in fact, Brady, multiple times in his career, didn't take additional salary or took a cut on his salary so that the team could assemble what was necessary. Exactly, bro. So it's like comparing the two is just to say to the character thing, in my opinion, is like the reason people never got tired of Brady is because he was 100% bought into the team dynamic. You never questioned whether, like, what he was about, why he was there.
Yeah.
Right. He did the dirty work. He would make the short passes 1,000 times in a season if that's what it took to get to the ultimate game.
You remember when Rodgers took his hiatus before he was like, the whole offseason was about.
He went to go do ayahuasca out.
Where he was going to go.
That's what I'm saying too, man. Is that like people? There was a franchise, a group of grown men and women that accepted this because he was talented until he wasn't.
Well, the only people that didn't accept it were in the locker room with him, bro, because you can actually watch it on the field. Tyrod Taylor goes out there the second that Aaron Rodgers takes himself out of the game when he wasn't going to get his
out.
He took himself out, bro, and said, "Yo,
but when AR did it, he was fucking crucified." But anyways, another point that I want to make.
That's what I'm saying. People just don't fucking care anymore. That's what I'm saying is that he's not it anymore. So it's not even worth.
You don't actually want him to be what he wants to be.
Let me ask you this:
it's not even news anymore to report.
All seriousness,
report that he did that. You know.
In all seriousness, like when was Rodgers top 5 in the league? How many years ago?
Oh wow!
Like over a decade.
I mean,
he's hanging his hat on that chip that he won, you know. And
what is it? 2012? When did he win the Super Bowl?
I don't 10 maybe.
Bro, if it's 10, that's 15 years ago.
Which would I don't know. Was that when they played the Steelers, or am I tripping?
$2011.
Pittsburgh Steelers 31 to 25.
That's one thing
damn bitch. 2011.
But it didn't then, you know, to take it full circle back to what we were discussing with Kirk Cousins.
You could have a kid that be a freshman in high school between that time, dog.
Bro, imagine Lamar Jackson also being a free agent that year. And you're like, you know what? We're gonna go with the 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers instead. and pay him whatever the fuck they paid him, 80 million. I don't know.
They like
Talk about fucking up your franchise, like. But that isn't that just the Jets thing to do? Like,
that's also what bothers me is like, why is it that the Jets have to be that way?
3 years, 100 million.
Well, there was apparently that the owner was fucking. What do you feel about that shit, bro? That the owner was saying that he didn't want to get this motherfucker because of his Madden rating. Is that real? Was that a real fucking story?
I don't know anything about that.
Oh man.
And if it is, then that's just fucking stupid.
Woody Johnson.
Why do the Jets have to be that way?
It's like every time I want to complain about my team, I have to remember that there are others that I'm thankful for not being in their fan base.
Like the Jets have been around forever, and like
okay, it was for Jerry Jeudy. NFL owner Woody Johnson has reportedly used Madden NFL ratings to evaluate players and make decisions. For example, Johnson vetoed
right there.
He vetoed a trade.
What did he do in fantasy last year?
Because he felt his Madden rating was too low.
Oh, that's sick.
Nah, dog.
That's
hey,
sick, dude.
Pick up the sticks, dog. Nah, that nigga under 70, we don't fucking want anything under 78. We ain't.
Why do you even have a staff if that's the case? You know what I mean? What are you paying these nerds?
He just took them out of field goal range. What an idiot. So what do the fucking Jets do now? Do you move on from Rodgers? Do you move on from Devontae Adams? And
yeah,
they have a top 10 pick, right? Around there, 12.
I don't know.
Throw the ball, douche.
I want to say that they owe Rodgers money that like either way they can't really make too much of a move next year.
But are you still all in?
Like side note, I feel like Sam Darnold is point shaving right now.
He's doing something, dude. Seven sacks is look at this guy. What an idiot.
He had the number 7 pick.
The Jets?
Yes.
It's a good pick to have if they want to pick their future. And look, his ass trying to save himself, like, yeah, I'll mentor. I don't mind mentoring. You want that paycheck, don't he?
He just doesn't want.
He knows the reality. They said, I think I saw somewhere that the Steelers have a legitimate or possible front runners if he doesn't retire. Could see him going to Pittsburgh.
I saw the same thing because apparently it's the Tomlin connection. Like apparently there's some sort of mutual respect between it. Reportedly, who the fuck knows? But
that tells me all I need.
We did ayahuasca together one time at band camp. If this dude stays, because they're even talking about if Tomlin possibly out the door. I know he has a no trade clause, so he won't be traded somewhere else, but there's a possibility that they just part ways with him.
I think any franchise would be lucky to have Mike Tomlin, dude.
I
can see, though, that the Steelers are just like, we need to do something different.
But they have never in their history of the Steelers fired anybody. All these guys are retired into the sunset before they.
So was he the immediate takeover after Bill Cowher?
I believe so.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
It's amazing for him, though.
I mean, just franchises like Pittsburgh and Green Bay.
And then imagine taking this Pittsburgh team to 10 wins and then not having a job next year.
But let me ask you a question, dog. It's like I hear you, but they haven't won in like almost as long as Rodgers.
Name their quarterbacks over the last.
Haven't won playoff games. They haven't won any meaningful. They always sneak their way into the playoffs and bounced out.
But that's how good of a coach he is.
But I mean, like,
just to Boyer's point.
Like, name their quarterbacks over the last
5 years.
I don't disagree with you.
Mason Rudolph.
They're also not homegrowing their offensive positions, right? I mean, they got rid of Deontay. I just
feel that he's been on that team long enough that Tomlin has say so in the offense that. Yeah, at this point, I equally put blame on him for
they brought your boy from Atlanta up there this year.
Morris, I would take.
No. Who's running the offense for Pittsburgh right now?
Oh yeah, they fucked up there.
Yeah,
which is such a Pittsburgh thing to do to be like, we want to run the ball.
Who's running Pittsburgh's offense right now, Mr. Falcons?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, you do. Come on. You were complaining all last year about this man. And then
yet look at how many meaningful yet they're over there winning games. And I think
tune change. But for real, I mean, it's like to me, to Kamal's point, any organization would be lucky to have Tomlin.
I would kick out Raheem Morris out the door immediately to get Mike Tomlin. I agree, but maybe it's time to just part ways, bro. Look, Andy Reid left the Eagles, bro. Great coach. Sometimes it just gotta happen. Bill, great fucking guy. Sometimes
you remember after they let Andy Reid walk when they brought in old boy from Oregon? What was that dude's name? The coach
Kelly something.
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
What a dumpster fire, dude. Oh,
made me believe in Sam Bradford, bitch ass motherfucker.
That guy always looked funny in a helmet, man.
Dude, like a bobblehead. The Revolution helmets before they were a thing, bro.
With the long sleeve shirts, you know what I mean? Like with the not even like the long sleeve, but like crew cut t-shirt. Looking like a pear tree. Sam Bradford, the pear tree back there.
Fuck, bro. This is a fucking awful game right now, man. 9-27. I can't believe this shit.
Awful since the first quarter.
Fuck.
It's kind of like the Eagles
the
Eagles Packers game, dude. Like Packers guy fumbles on the kickoff is like it was a wrap almost right then.
Yeah.
That dude fucking smashed.
Bro, when you're losing the turnover battle and the sack battle, this is what you get, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, they can easily come back.
Good at this point.
Guys, it's only 18 points.
Hey, Minnesota's overcome that before.
Right there, man.
Hey, at least they went for 2. Yeah. It could be 60.
I really like this Minnesota team. And honestly, I'm a believer in McCarthy.
Are you, man? I'm not, Merrill.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a playoff team next year.
Who?
The Vikings.
Oh,
so
JJ. Okay.
Darnold gets dealt too then?
I thought you were talking about a different. I thought you were talking about the coach, McCarthy.
I would never talk about him freely.
JJ, man, he looked from all reports, man, he looked fucking good. He looked good in that preseason game, and all stuff out of camp was saying
I don't think he's any worse than Sam Darnold, and he's quicker than him.
Agreed.
So it helps in the pocket, obviously, but
yeah, Sam Darnold is like midnight struck. He's turning back into a fucking.
I mean, no. If you look at the past 2 weeks, including this week, I mean, he reminds you of New York Jets,
Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
Listen, you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, I believe, right? Do you, come on?
No.
All right, so because of you guys, every now and then I listen to it. Did you see the Cat Williams episode?
Yeah, I did.
To question. So come on, before I get into asking him about this, my wife overheard me listening to it, and we got into this fucking argument, bro. And she was like, Cat Williams said that he's read over 3,000 books from the age of 8 to 12. He read 3,000 books. He would read 8 books a day, 60 books a week, pretty much.
Dr. Seuss books.
And he was very specific on books at the very least that were 2 to 2, anywhere between 150 to 250, I believe, were the pages.
Oh,
he would read that in an hour, and he would read 8 books
a day in a week, dog. My brain will not comprehend that shit.
It's just like, man, the dude is actually pretty knowledgeable. I'm not saying that he's not, man, but
how much fantasy content do I consume in a week, though, is my comparison. Like, motivation is a powerful thing. He also, if I remember correctly, there was no TV, there was no like entertainment or media or any of that kind of stuff.
Social media. He said 8 hours a day. He didn't go out. He didn't do anything. It was just legitimately.
And also, he's a household name, and he's a wildly successful comedian. and has very specific views about certain power rings in Hollywood. So look, I'm not saying that the man has read over 3,000 books, but also he's done something to elevate himself into.
I mean, he fucking called out a lot of the 2024 shit, bro.
I think certain comedians are among the smartest people on the planet anyway, because it just takes a certain, so it takes a certain like information.
You're right.
Like
that's why Dave Chappelle, in my opinion, was so successful. Like he knew how to take the smallest piece of information and make that shit funny.
I actually think it's relatable. Like, yeah. No, I mean to anybody.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Seinfeld level stuff, right? Like where it's so obvious that it's like, how didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
So look, I don't know. Taking nothing away from Cat Williams, I had, still remember his skits from when I was in like, high school and stuff like that. Super funny guy. But I was surprised to learn that that's not actually him. It's a character. You know what I mean? And that's the difference.
Bro, like night and day different. Like that's what I guess that's what the biggest thing that I took away. I didn't necessarily believe, in the 3,000 books, but he definitely showed a different side or perspective from what I was expecting. And he, at the very least, looked very educated in what he was talking about. There were some times where I felt like after he was like waffling and wasn't able to answer some questions, but at the same time, whatever he was able to rebuttal on, again, the dude just sounds very well versed. I guess
he's also the same guy saying that like you had to tell a certain high profile music celebrity no. You had to like tell him no. So I mean,
I have no idea what you guys are talking about, so I'm just staying out of it.
Think of the guy that's been in the news lately that
I'm talking about in terms of Cat Williams. Like I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's
just that if you ever, not that it's not really worth that much of a watch. It's not that bad. I enjoyed it, but they talked about other shit that kind of piqued my interest. But yeah, definitely saw a different side of Cat that I was expecting to see. But my question to you guys was: do you think it was possible to be able to read 3,000 books? See there.
I can't imagine it. I don't know how anybody would do that and also absorb it.
Then he was reading. He said he had multiple books open at once, bro.
I'm a slow reader anyway, though, so it's not really that.
I feel like I need to read stuff over it. I mean, well, yeah,
I have to, bro. I used to read shit. I used to read the same page 5 times. Mom would be like, "Tell me what you read," and I'm like, But you put a fucking Sports Illustrated in front of me and want me to read about the fucking NFL, I'll tell you everything that motherfucker says.
That's what I was gonna say. Motivation is a powerful thing, man. If you got a purpose, yeah, I mean it's possible.
It's the low.
So if he's just a voracious, like he's just in search of truth and and information and whatever else, like it's more generalized.
Do you feel talking about that? Do you? Guess I don't want to
get it out.
My soapbox into talking about it, man. But do you guys think the pyramids were built or man-made?
I don't care, bro. It's like flat Earth. I don't give a shit.
Get involved in any conspiracies.
I'm just at a point. I'm at a point with all of it because I've gone down rabbit holes, and same thing with flat Earth. Like, what do I give a fuck?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is
it's because either way you're just like pulled into this thing that doesn't matter. Like either way, if you feel like, all right, I'm gonna do this to what end? To what rational end as a person on the like what difference does like
vindication? Okay. I guess self gratification.
That's the difference like between me and my wife, right? Like if she hears something, she gets her interest peaked a little bit, she'll go and do all this research. Right? Me, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain things that I don't really care to put my effort towards.
That's fair, but there's things I would agree.
It's not gonna change my day, right? Like my life isn't gonna.
Here's the difference, man.
By whether the pyramids are real or not.
That's it. It's like how close can I actually get to it? Right? So I mean, there's some people, for example, that are, they're really interested in exploring and actually being a pioneer, and they will go and brave the world's harshest conditions and try to explore and map the Arctic, right? But like that's the kind of sacrifice in my mind that I would have to be willing to make to ever get an answer to that kind of question, because everything else to that point becomes sort of a third party source. You're not reading primary sources at that point, right? What do I care? What do I care if I'm not willing to go and like submit myself in my life's pursuit?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? At a certain point, it's just like
into it. No, I get that, because there's things where I equally understand. My wife will not be satisfied. I tell her something and she needs to know exactly what it is, when it happened, how the mood was, what the temperature was like.
Same.
I hear that.
One aspect though that I am highly intrigued in, like just always been kind of fascinated by, is the ocean though.
But it's okay. All right. So talking about the ocean, how is it that you feel that we've known more about space than we know about the ocean? That we map out space a lot more than we can map out.
I mean, I think nobody really fucking knows what's up in space, bro. You can send these satellites out there and all this shit, but I don't really, like I said, I don't read into it.
Yeah. Why? Because we can see into space and we can't see into the ocean. Why? Because we can get altitude up to, however many miles beyond the surface of the earth. But like if we go a couple of miles into the ocean, everything crushes into nothing.
Yeah.
It's not accessible in the same way. That's why. Like we figure out how to.
I've always been fascinated with it, bro. Like
I'm equally. That's what I guess is what it's not per se of. I guess
But if you really look at it, right, like the entire population of the world could be wiped out by fucking water. Like that's how much fucking water is on our planet, but only how much of it has been explored? Like
nowhere near as much as the
single digit percentage.
Some stupid
nowhere near as much as space.
So that's why I'm like,
at the same time, have you ever? So I've done this. I've seen this stuff where like logistics mapping of transcontinental ocean going ship vessels. If you've ever if you ever looked at like a live map where all the beacons show live shipping containers all over the world, right. It is mind blowing how many thousands of vessels are in major shipping lanes all over the world, in the Panama Canal, in the what's the one that got shut down? Suez Canal, all that kind of stuff. Like at any given time, we are both ignorant as to the full scope of the ocean, and yet we are so on it all the time. Yeah. Like as a species, like we're all over top of it. We're just not in it.
And some of my okay, I'm not going down this rabbit hole. Never mind.
No, do it.
No.
I think that we are, bro. Just that we're not talking about it. Now, it just my thing is just history. I feel like I can't in my mind rationalize how these pyramids were built without some kind of help from a third party.
And in what regard?
I don't know. That's what because I'm a kind of person that I need to see it for I believe it. I'm not
okay, but that's also the same as like saying that all these architectural places in fucking Spain and I don't know where else, Rome, were built by third parties as well.
It's because there's no historical memory that attaches.
Maybe not even. Yeah.
Like we have chain of custody.
Don't know, and we're inventing on what happened, right? We're literally just.
But if you also really look at it, bro, and this is,
and I don't want to say maybe not made by third parties, but at the very least, tools facilitated by third parties.
But do you look how far word of mouth can go, right? Like it just so happened to be stated that the Egyptians or whatever built this pyramid, right? But what if that was never the truth to begin with?
It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
This information proves to be different.
And that kind of that goes for a lot of things for me. Like even, religiously, like I don't really get into the indifferences in each one. You know what I mean? Like I'm never going to argue with somebody
No.
In that regard. It's just more like it is what it is, and one day you find out or one day you don't. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a brave new world. I think that, like, yeah, Jay, what you were just saying about sort of the origins of, so how power shapes information and how information shaped
God.
into education is way overlooked, right? Because at a certain point in our like early childhood, we all go into school, we all have history books, and then we all start learning a certain something, right? And there are all these historical reference points that are just supposed to be taken as as simple as like ABCs and numbers. It's like this is A, this is 1, and then the pyramids were built by the Egyptians, right? And it's like there is no room at that point in like a young developing brain for inquiry that would directly clash with the authority that is giving you the knowledge to begin with, right? Like, and there are very few people on the planet that from an early age have that sort of contrarian streak, but are also self-aware enough to not get like led astray by all that. And so, a lot of the issues with sort of trust or lack thereof in institutions and all that kind of stuff, that's more fascinating to me. I think probably led me into sort of that podcast realm with Norm and like conversations about legitimacy and how society and civilization organizes itself into a system of laws. And then we all basically buy in implicitly to a certain structure and a certain way of doing things. And that's what it takes in order to like maintain some sense of like balance and the ability to continue on into whatever we conceive to be humanity's purpose or purposes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like without that consensus, we don't have society, because society at its core is consensus about core things, right? Core principles, And so to a certain extent, the moon stuff, right? There are conspiracies about the moon. There's conspiracies about JFK. There's conspiracies about the origins of the pyramids, or whatever it is, that like whether the earth is shaped a certain way. A lot of that is just like it requires a certain mandate to challenge the status quo, which is kind of the moment we're in. So even though like you feel like this is kind of outlandish and down a rabbit hole, it kind of gets at the fundamental question of like consensus in the modern era and what technology and what we've lived through has done to our generation of thinkers and young people, and what we together have decided on a consensus should be the way that we're organized and the truths that we hold like together, and whether they stand up at all, right? Whether whether America is what it says it is, or whether the history that we're given in our textbooks is what it says it is, or whether a lot of that has been just shaped by the winners of certain historical power struggles through thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? And where power resides now. So all these questions ultimately are kind of like people trying to get a sense of where they are in the grand scheme of things, because you really feel like you're this big, like at the end of it. So anyway, this podcast went off the rails.
I was kind of thinking, could you imagine winning 14 games in a season and then losing the most important one?
Or could you imagine winning 14 games and being a 5 seed
and then losing?
Bro, how?
So really, they won 14 games and then lost 2 in a row, right? They were 14-2 and then went 0-2.
Bro, they're only down 18 though. There's still 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah, true.
JJ is pissed, bro. What is his stat line right now? Like 4 catches for 32 yards?
I'd give him 5 or 6 catches, but
no, I wouldn't even say that much, to be honest with you, man. I feel like he's had
I feel like I've seen maybe one catch.
Probably.
Well, in the first quarter, he had like 2 or 3. I don't know. I got sidetracked the rest of the way, obviously, but I would give him
All right,
50
so
yards.
we are
Wow, 5 for
58.
58. All right, Kamal. Look at TJ Hawkinson leading the way.
But this is also my thing. Like, why do you have the best player on the field that only has
8 targets, bro.
8 targets? So what does Puka have? 9 targets and a rush, right?
Cooper's got 1 fucking catch, bro. Holy fuck.
Look at Tyler Higbee going bananas.
He got injured
Again?
at 5 and 58 in like the first half. He was done. Yeah.
Who?
Cooked.
He didn't make it past either the first quarter or the first half. I'm
He
not
got to
sure.
retire, bro.
Higbee, yeah, man. That man has some serious injuries, right? Neck and back.
But I just never understand how. I mean, I don't know. I guess
Cooper
when
Kupp.
you look at one
My
game,
God.
but when you look at one game, it's a matter of 3 hours. So I understand like getting carried away, but how Justin Jefferson doesn't get the ball in his hands at least 10 times, like these are things that kind of blow my mind. Like, it's almost like, you have Lamar and instead you're just going to hand the ball off 30 times, which, I mean, of course you hand it off to Henry. So that's a little, you can negate that a little bit, but how do you not put the ball in your playmaker's hands and ask him to make a play for you?
I don't know, sir. I know they're gonna have a long fucking ride home. Well, they have no homes to go to, some of them, so they're gonna be doing a lot of soul searching.
I mean, shit, they're coming from Minnesota, dog. There were no fires there. Well, at least not this year.
No, the Rams.
They won. It ain't gonna be a long ride.
Well,
They're gonna win. Look at that.
No, man, the California wildfires, aren't they playing? They're playing in Arizona, right? This game is not in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm saying they might not go anywhere for the time being.
I say the Rams go to Detroit next. They might go there early, considering
they have nowhere to go.
That's got to be a hell of a thing to deal with, especially as like a young player when you really don't make that much money. Imagine a guy like JJ can, overcome things, or Stafford, but you look at like rookies that are, just moves into an apartment and shit, like that's got to be a little tougher to overcome. But so what, the Rams get the Lions next?
They do.
Yeah, I'm not even giving them a chance in that one.
No, the Rams. Whatchamacallit plays the Lions. The
Commanders.
Commanders and Lions, and the Texans play the Chiefs. Winner of them, I guess, play these guys, right?
No, Texans and Chiefs are in the AFC.
Yeah, so this is
don't you fucking correct
me.
So
it would be the
hold on.
Commanders and Eagles, and who plays the Eagles?
Lions. Lions play Commanders. The Rams will play the Eagles.
I don't know. The Rams might have one more in them, man.
Eagles don't look scary, do they?
But they kind of don't ever, though.
All right, so
really, the passing game.
I told you the Texans play the Chiefs, bro. Fucking.
Oh, that's right.
They're in the AFC, so they'll.
Correct.
You said they'll play the winner of this game.
Can you tell me I'm sorry, Jason?
No, when you go back and watch this, you'll see where you fucked up, sir.
Right here, I said the Chiefs play the Texans. They play this guy.
I know I said this in the chat, man, but like we were really kind of robbed of the Bengals being in the playoffs, man. I'm still kind of hurt about that.
Yeah, that I didn't like that either. But you know what? You got to win a certain amount of games to make it, and
Well, look, I mean,
not let them
it
do
could have
that.
been worse, I guess. They could have won 14 and been a fucking 5 seed.
Yep.
And eliminated.
Dude, the Chargers losing.
Imagine but for real though, imagine playing. Listen. Imagine playing for the number 1 seed and the division, and then the next week your season's over.
Dum dum dum.
Like that's got to be a hell of a roller coaster right there, man.
I think that's just a lack of something on that team, honestly.
Yeah. Well, their offensive line was trash, and so was their quarterback. So like I said, when you lose the sack battle and the turnover battle, like this is going to be the outcome 90% of the time.
And
Bro,
Jay, how do you feel about Jordan Love? You want to take a minute and talk about him?
Fucking bum ass motherfucker, dog. I certainly hope that everybody in Green Bay, including a special group of somebodies, a certain family, individuals, that they wake up and I hope they fucking saw that game and they were sick to their stomach.
You know they were.
Video of a fucking guy that he was.
How much did they pay him? Like over 200 million, right?
They
gave
paid
him
this
the
man
bag.
right. I know that he's one of the top
5.
7.
Yeah.
I feel like they
Top 7.
paid him like 210 is the number that comes in my head that they paid him. 210. $220.
4 years, 220.
Yikes.
Without even seeing anything though.
Yikes. 160
Like, look,
guaranteed.
Dude is a starting quarterback. Right? But to give him that kind of contract when he hasn't.
They gave him Aaron Rodgers money.
And this organization in particular, right? Like they always make very sound decisions.
What about fucking Justin Herbert?
I didn't know he got that much.
Oh, yeah, he got a bag.
But it's pretty much the same. He just got an extra year. So he got the extra 50 mil or 40 mil.
I feel bad for Herbert too, man, because like Lad McConkey's the first like weapon, like young weapon he's actually had. They whiffed on Quentin Johnston. I don't want to hear anything about like that. Look, 2 games that Quentin Johnston acted like he knew how to play football.
Yeah,
that dude.
I don't like him at all.
Yeah,
that dude's got a little head, bro.
Why don't they put Daniel Jones in?
Baby head ass nigga. All right.
Tall ass guy with a little head.
Fuck,
you
man.
Know he ain't built for it. You know what I mean? His head ain't all the way there.
Nah, he ain't in it, bro. His heart ain't in it all the way.
He can't see the ball right.
Yeah, Jordan Love is a fucking bum, dog. Fucking bum. I certainly am glad that they paid him all that money, bro.
But here's the age old dilemma, right? With quarterback.
Oh, another sack.
Come out.
55 mil. 55 mil is how much this man's getting fucking paid.
Come out. You are a masochist, my man. 200 on the Vikings.
Bro, 9 sacks. Hey, I was shooting for the moon.
9 sacks, bro.
Just I mean, Darnold, bro. Let it be over.
Yeah. That's what I said. Where's Daniel Jones?
Like, how many of these defensive linemen are hitting their bonuses right now?
Earlier it said 6 players had half a sack, which was tied for the playoff record or some shit. Now they got 9, which is tied for a playoff record. Are they going to go for 10?
Bro, I could never get that fucking branding tattooed on me, bro. Fuck that.
What are you talking about?
I just seen one of the players, they got the tattoo of they got a brand. They branded themselves.
Oh.
I mean, look.
God, what an ugly ass game, dude.
Yeah, it's wild. Look at that mustache, boy. That's it. You're done. Pack it up, bro.
How do you ask him to come back after the way the season ended?
Like, hey man,
the thing is that this is great because they had to wrestle with the idea of
now
we're gonna look like assholes that we're not. That a guy that took us to 14-3 season, are we not gonna offer him some kind of an extension or some kind of a deal? Now they can be like, hey, appreciate you, dog. Here's a fucking lunch. You can always come back to visit. Deuces.
Is he a starter next year in the
I'm
league?
sure somebody will pay him, bro. Look the fact that Aaron Rodgers was a starter in the league this year. Yes.
It depends on where they go, because I mean,
there's there will be a all right.
Maybe like a mid-season acquisition.
The Giants could possibly take him. The Jets, if they let Rodgers go, they gotta
They
have
better
money.
not, bro. If I'm Sam, you're gonna have to pay me $200 million to go back to New York.
Oh, that's right. We're talking
like, what a win!
But
I don't know, man. That sounds like a prison sentence, honestly.
To go back to the Jets, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't see why he does that.
But
still, his agent would probably screen all of those calls.
Bro,
the Jets are calling.
Can you imagine, bro? 14 wins, and then you lose the 1 seed, and then you're eliminated the next week.
I'm still tripped up over.
Boy, I'm glad I'm not a Vikings fan.
For sure. Cooper, dog, time to hang it up, dog. That man is a shell of himself, bro. Holy moly.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. But how fucking crazy is it that they just found another cup in Puka Nacua? Like,
superstar.
I really thought last year was a fluke. You're right. You know, like in the beginning, kind of. Yeah, fluka. And then this dude, man.
They hit on that pick, man. Is that the dude Verse? No.
No, but yeah, Verse. I really like him actually as a fantasy prospect too.
Verse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Jimmy G. Oh shit.
Oh, Jimmy Handsome out there getting his shine.
He's chilling getting his bag, bro. He's chilling getting paid. That's what he's
Jimmy Handsome. His whole career's been this way. He's only had like a few moments where he's had to be like the guy. And somehow he walked into a room.
Wasn't there a time where like the Patriots had a decision that either let Brady go or
how good does their management look for the decision they made to like send Jimmy G on his way?
But didn't they have wasn't there a time where they were like, is it time to move on from Brady and keep Jimmy?
Yeah, Bill wanted to keep Jimmy around, and Brady was like, I ain't having this shit. He went up to the owner and he was like, nigga, he's gotta go, bro.
Look, back to our conversation earlier. I guarantee you it wasn't that big of a conversation internally, because I guarantee you Tom Brady had the clout from all the sacrifices he had already made at that point. Like, hold on a second, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, how many years have you asked me to, like, you know, chill out on the salary?
Like the fact that he went straight to the nigga that cuts the check, bro. He went above the coach. The coach wanted him out. If it was up to Bill, he would have been out and it would have been Jimmy. But the fact that he has that much fucking weight that he dropped his nuts on fucking Bill's head to go over to the office.
He probably slapped Bill on the ass on the way back to the locker room too. Hey, Bill, sorry about it. Didn't even tell him what he was sorry for. He just told him sorry after he did.
Hey, Kraft wants to see you in his office, dog.
Oh.
Damn, this was an ugly game. But aside from that, man, the games are pretty fucking good, bro. That dude Jaden is.
I really don't think anybody in the NFC can fuck with the Lions right now, though, man.
Think so, man? I think that's gonna be a good game. I don't think their defense will be able to keep up with them, man. But Jaden is a fucking baller, dog.
I would love
he's not even with Terry McLaurin and the fucking crew.
And De'Ami Brown.
Lions are just
Olamide Zaccheaus and Zach Ertz. You know what I'm saying?
Those from Zach Ertz.
Yeah, but the Lions are just different, bro. Like their whole DNA.
Offensively, I agree. Defense,
they lost how many people on defense this year? 10.
Yeah, like I feel like
considering that, but next man up, and the next man is doing their fucking thing.
They're
like, bro, how do you not want to play or like play your hardest for Dan Campbell, bro?
Well, that's what that's why like last year was kind of heartbreaking because I was scared that magic was going to go away. right? Because
Man,
that was the
shit's
same
so
thing.
Well,
They were
last year
bringing,
they had other things to do, right? Like there was such a bad history that
Yeah.
like last year was kind of like replacing what we know of the Lions, right, into what they're becoming.
Yeah.
And I mean, their window to win, is they're looking at 2-3 years, dude. Still,
I
like
mean, but
including last year.
If you're Dan Campbell, his whole mantra is like the window is now or never.
Yeah.
Right. Like his whole mentality.
He's not
Which
trying to wait that 2-3 years. He's trying to do a dynasty in that aspect, but he's not thinking about that at the moment. He's
I
looking
think he just doesn't take it for granted. I mean, because he
No,
played
he's
in the
looking at
league. So I
he's
think
looking
his
in the moment.
mentality is like, yo, this is it. Like, if you think that we could do it again or
Yeah.
whatever,
Great,
it's
but
like,
I think
don't worry about right now.
in terms of NFC, like Eagles at their best are the only real competition, right? Like the Lions would have to play a terrible game and have Washington play an excellent game to really be blown out,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it would have to be kind of like tonight where they just don't, the Vikings didn't show up. But
Dante Fowler has 5 sacks.
really?
No, I'm just saying that's the kind of game that would
I
have
was
to
about
be
to say, dude, somebody had 5 sacks tonight.
No, I'm saying like Dante Fowler for the Commanders. It's like that's the kind of game it would have to be. Goff is just getting hit in the pocket a lot.
Yeah, which is not going to happen, right? Like the
Will Montgomery be back for that game?
Yeah,
that's a wrap, bro.
I really want to see Aiden this week. Like that's one dude, bro. In terms of like, I don't know, just
he's a fan
of a player.
He'll be on a snap count if they make it to the Super Bowl, but he's not going to be there until then.
Yo, but imagine telling that guy.
David Montgomery has been clear. It has been already reportedly that he'll be ready to go for
whatever.
The
Lions are fucking scary, but like I said, so are the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are the one team where like if they're on, they're defensively. I
was gonna say their defense this year has like blown my mind. Honestly,
that's the reason why they won yesterday's game.
Yeah,
or
their defense has absolutely blown my mind this year.
Yeah. But that defense from Green Bay was fucking solid, bro. Like,
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think that it was a terrible performance from Jalen. I feel like he took what he had. Yeah, I'm sure that there was some kind of rest there, man. But I still, again, man, like if you go back and you watched it, man, like there was the fucking Packers were putting these boys on fucking.
It's the same concept, bro. If Saquon doesn't touch the ball 20-25 times, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just some guys. Yeah, they're just some guys that you got to give them the ball enough to make a difference. Right? He can make a difference in 5 plays, but he could also get 5 plays for 20 yards. And then you saw, right, the last play of the game, if that play happened in the second quarter, he was running to the end zone. So
and
just got to give your playmakers the ball.
Shout out to Josh Jacobs. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a season for that dude.
Yeah. Surprising.
He's always been good, bro. He's just always played on a fucking shitty team.
But also durable as fuck. That dude is just durable, man.
Yeah, like Marshawn Lloyd, durable as fuck, dude. Yeah. On IR all season.
Tissue paper.
Just durable, son. He said, "I'm not leaving the bench."
This shit is warm already. I'm sitting on it.
Like I'm definitely I'm probably most shocked by Josh Allen. Like just his ability. It really takes me back to Cam, bro. Like his ability to just take over a game and make everyone around him
it's
better.
A great dude, Kamal. Yeah, because look, we got to wrap this shit up in a minute. But I will say this. That is probably the first time, you just saying that is probably the first time that I've like been able to get an outsider's perspective on what it must have been like to look at Cam Newton not as a fan of the Panthers, but just to like see a guy and you're like
a likable guy, right?
True,
like,
but just in terms of the on-field,
that if you weren't a fan, you were like, fuck him, right? Like, but the
just
level that they can take over a game. And just the type of specimen they are on the field, that's just different, bro. And when they can put that all together and make passes.
And it's great to see Josh Allen like develop. Like it's like he was more Cam Newton-esque like several years ago, right? In terms of
his arm. I always said that, bro. He reminded me of Cam, but his arm was better.
I think his arm is a lot better than Cam was.
Oh my God, but he's developed so well. Like he's
right, and that's kind of where Cam didn't develop, right? Other than his MVP season, he always had trouble completing passes.
Locating the ball. Jesus, man.
I mean,
So
like Ted Ginn Jr. is your fucking wide receiver.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying about the Bills. Like James Cook and look, Khalil Shakir is good by all means, but
he's bow-legged.
And who else do they have? Right, Coleman was out. Kincaid was was
in now. He was hurt too, but it was the fact that he's
Keon Coleman wasn't exactly it, right? Yeah. And then
he's gonna be it though. Like
he's good. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but it's
injuries and all this shit.
He's definitely the best, the most athletic wide receiver on that team, and he'll after some time
be without the most athletic, and to really have to rely on Shakir and James Cook. I mean, Josh Allen, like in terms of MVP, he's the most valuable player, but
I love how irrelevant
Lamar has had a better season. Like
statistically, I would probably give it to Lamar, but like, bro, it's just you still got to do the eye test, and like, man, those fucking plays that Josh Allen has had are
like I said, bro. It really. I've said it ever since he came into the league, man. It's the closest thing I've seen to Cam since Cam left. You know, just the way he plays the game and can take over, except, you know, his passing ability is so much fucking better.
How irrelevant is Curtis Samuel on any team he goes to, though?
You know, that's frustrating, though, because he balled.
He's always injured, though, man. He was injured for most
part. A lot of injuries.
He was a starter in the beginning of the year.
I'm just saying it doesn't, like, no change of scenery can change the outcome. My man's just like.
Well, you know, half of the Panthers players from.
Yes, there is some sort of like underground channel that they just like ship people back and forth.
You know, defensive coordinator was with us.
Joe Brady,
like 10 players. So,
you remember we even sent them Kelvin Benjamin when he turned into dust. We were like, "Hey, can you take Kelvin?"
Yep,
that's good karma for them. They're like, "Yeah, we'll take your trash." Now look at him.
Nah, but
Kelvin Benjamin.
Damn, I forgot about that guy.
Yes, he forgot about himself.
He's forgettable for sure. Him and Devin Funchess.
Giraffe legs.
Man, I can't believe they were like, yo, Cam can't throw the ball. We're just gonna draft 6'5" guys and hope that they can jump and get the ball.
And all it did was adjust Cam's line of sight, and he threw 8 feet over their head too. Yeah. He was just like, oh fuck, they're taller.
Like Steve Smith's too small. Let's go get a guy that's 6'4" that can run a 4.7 40.
Talk about highlight reel. Steve Smith. Jesus. All right. We got to end this, or I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's been a good show, guys.
I got to take some Theraflu, get in the fucking bed.
What's your day looking like tomorrow?
Same way it looks every night, Pinky. You know?
Trying to take over the world, sir.
Every
day. How do you guys feel going into? So I'm going to let everybody know this, but I'm going to change the playoff setting and eliminate the bye weeks and have more teams going into the playoffs. Oof. So instead of it being the get that bye week,
it'll be 8.
Correct.
Oof.
How do you guys feel about that? I don't care because I don't make the playoffs. Does that mean that the bottom four?
I guess that was my also next thing is because of that, it's going to make these lottery picks just that much more valuable. Correct. Instead of being 4, instead of being 6, now it's pretty much 4 that are going to be in the lottery.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, 1 seed. I mean, you could fight both sides, right? One seed should be rewarded, but at the same time, like when it comes to the playoffs, man.
So will it be just a straight up though? So will you get rid of the divisional aspect of like the 1 seed and the 1 seed kind of thing? Like, so in other words, this year
there will be no bye. So it'll be literally the same thing, but if you have the 1 seed, that's it. Yeah, you just go in with the 1 seed.
But what I'm saying is,
so you win your division, you get a 1 seed.
But Nick was also a 1 seed because he won his division.
He was in the other division. Correct. It'll still be that same setup.
So he'll be the 2 seed still, even if there's somebody in the league that has a better record than him.
If he's not in his division, correct. Yes, sir.
I mean,
that's scary.
I would much prefer an extra roster spot, but you are the commish, so
extra roster spot or extra playoff spot, that's a toughie.
Yeah.
I feel the playoff spot is just
extra roster spot. Come out. You had the hardest time this season filling up a starting.
It was just my running backs, bro. That's all.
I can't do it, Kamal. I can't.
With my running backs.
But just
Again,
man, just extra playoff spot. Just you would have made the playoffs.
No, I lost 5 in a row, bro. I wasn't making shit. But yeah, I probably would have I still would have done the same thing at the end of the season. But I mean, whatever. I don't care.
Just let it sink in.
Just gives me a little bit more chance to make it next year. And if I don't, then I'm quitting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna retire.
I will say this in defense of the 6-team playoff model. It is like I don't know. You have to figure out a way. Because I just can't, there's only like 4 people that don't make it in, and then some of the guys that like shouldn't have been in this year that weren't in are gonna kind of like squeak in and shit.
That's what the playoffs are all about, bro.
I guess. I
mean, I like the fact that it's so hard to make it with only half the league making it, and I think that's what I'm saying.
So it's like. And then again, it also gives people like Chris was complaining about of the winner of that it makes those lottery picks just that much more important. Or there are.
Well, I don't see why the lottery or why that would change.
Because there would be 2 picks that don't get.
Purpose of that doesn't make sense because nobody even owns their own first. You know what I mean? So he's like, if I win, but nobody owns their first. So it's really to me, it's a way that makes ones, and from someone that likes ones, it makes them harder to acquire because. I could just be like, well, I'm going to miss the playoffs and just try and win, the best of the bottom 6 just to have the one.
I look forward to your full pitch, Commish. That's what I look forward to. You're well developed.
He doesn't need a pitch.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need to pitch shit.
I'm just saying.
He's telling you, get ready.
Yeah, I'm like I heard that. All I'm saying is we're gonna have some losers. We're gonna have some we're gonna have some straight up losers in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you just said to me. We're gonna have some sub 500 records in the fucking playoffs with regularity. And there are gonna be some people who go, I don't know, 12-2, 10-4, who are gonna be like, y'all were trash all year. Right?
Yeah, kind of like the Vikings and the Rams.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't like get 12 wins and get bumped to a 5 seed, I guess you could deal.
I don't know. That's something to strongly consider though, because it does change ramifications like of the desire to make the playoffs. Versus
it just weakens the prestige of making the playoffs by 20% or so. Right?
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
I would be here for
such a long fucking year.
I would be here for like a 2-week long matchup in the title game and like starting your playoffs a week earlier.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe each matchup is 2 week long. But I did that in the league and it fucked me because playoffs started and Derrick Henry was on bye.
No.
You know what I mean? So it is tough to do those 2 weeks.
I was just saying for the championship matchup. So you would be ostensibly you would be past that, but it would be like keep everything the same, start playoffs a week earlier, and then the championship matchup be 2 weeks.
That would still be week 14, which teams are on bye. Would be the first.
They are because it all. Yeah, that's right. Never mind.
All right, it's cool. I gave me something. It's not maybe as solid as I thought it was. I still just like the idea of incentivizing more people to.
It just feels like a little bit of a participation trophy for 7th and 8th. That's all I'm saying.
My thing is, if you're not participating in the playoffs, and you're probably not participating during the season, so it's more of a personal problem. Like, and to be honest, bro, when you're in the playoffs, fuck that shit. Like, or when you're in the losers bracket, don't nobody give a fuck about that shit. I don't need no incentive to win or to lose that shit. You know what I mean? Like at that point,
the only incentive that you have is the fact that Danny came in fucking last place, and he wasn't going. That wouldn't have mattered if I didn't count those extra games.
And I think that is a good enough reason to stay competitive, right? I didn't give a fuck about the losers bracket until championship week when I realized that I might low key be last place. You know what I mean? So. I'm just from my perspective, like losers bracket ain't shit. Whether there's 4 or 6 people in there.
Yeah, once you're fucking out of the playoffs or once you're out of it, bro, and nothing matters.
Yeah, but I think that the reward of being one of the 6 teams and having a bye is probably greater than having 8 teams in and chaos. But I don't know. There's pros and cons, bro. You know what I mean? Because when it's playoff time, anybody can win, right? Like if you look at the top 5 players in the playoffs, Jerry Jeudy was one of them. Am I tripping? Or no, T. Higgins, a dude that was started 50% of the season, was a playoff MVP. You know what I mean? So once you get into those final 3 weeks, man, the first 14 weeks are irrelevant. Who gets hot at the end of the season?
Joe Beasy.
And on that note, sir, shout out to Joe Beasy. Gentlemen, have a good night. Feel better, sir. Sir, you fucking make sure you turn off all those lights before you go to bed.
There's only one light. Don't forget.
He's got a whole light. He's got a big thing on the side of the.
Where the fuck is it? It's one light. That's one light.
Damn.
One light bulb. That's it.
He's leaving the gym. Right.
All right. Fuck off, fuck faces.
All right, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.